All right. So, yeah, just going straight down. So Matthias starts tomorrow. I'm actually going to have a meeting with him later on today. He had some questions about getting started, got the onboarding issue already created and everything. So get him going tomorrow. Once I actually have a GitLab handle, there's a few issues we can assign to him or ping him on, have him pairing up with Alexi. Alexi's going to be his onboarding buddy. So I already talked about in the memory team channel about our OKRs. We're doing well for the quarter. By mid-October, we will hit our, well, we'll actually have exceeded our goal for hiring. We have a couple more candidates in the pipeline, 2 of them right now. I'm trying to finish up scheduling one of them with Camille. So Camille, you'll probably see something on your calendar here shortly for one candidate that we have.
Yes, but this needs to happen this week because I'm on the Commit London next week.
Oh, yeah. Good to know. I'll follow up with the folks that are scheduling. Thanks for letting me know. So that's pretty much it. So we need to get a timeline on getting Puma out to production because we talked about trying to get it out the last couple milestones, and this milestone ends in just over 2 weeks. Are we blocked on anything for getting Puma out to Canary at this point in time? First it was chronic, then it was the DB pool connections, but I think all of those, I mean, chronic duration's been fixed, the DB pool connections have been fixed. Is there anything else we need to do to get it out to Canary?
I have to check like this DB pool because I know that like we fixed something, but I'm not fully sure if there is like any, like everything is fixed because we validated that on staging. So I guess like that this would be like the last blocker for us to resolve before moving on the Canary.
Okay. Are you just going to comment on the issue?
Yes, because like I will comment on the issue because there is like also like Craig, your mention about the production, but it will not happen by us. So I think that we have to run it through Gary and Andrew to basically like make them to figure out when they want to enable that, because it's not really like into our disposal anymore. Like we can fairly easy, I would say, like assume that like we can enable that with our guidance on the Canary, but production is, I think, completely outside of our reach.
Right.
Until they kind of like conclude the timeline of that.
Yeah, well, we should, I mean, once we actually get it to Canary, we should notify them, let them know that if all goes well, we want to get this out to production so they have early warning. I'm happy to take that on, but we just need to figure out when we can get it on the Canary. I don't know of any other blockers right now, other than, like you said, the one last check to see if there's anything else. And is that same thing we've done in the past, just ping Jarv and ask him to roll it out and give him guidance on workers and threads for Canary?
I'm not sure if this works for the Canary, but I will figure out.
Okay. What was your concern there on list of other items from Puma?
It's not strictly required. Like I'm more looking at the API because there is like a number of the observability aspects. It's not strongly required, but for enabling Puma by default, I would say that like we have to solve or like reschedule what we have in this epic that I linked. If you click the epic because like I listed some like major requirements for us to like enable that by default as soon as we start running on the production. But I think that like our single source of truth is pretty much what is in the epic and what is scheduled in this epic. Epic is on the right-hand side.
Yep.
We work on some of these observability items right now, but there is not really like anything complex. It's rather that like we have to work through these items and conclude them.
Is any of this going to block us on getting out to production or even Canary, right? Because this is for this reads to me more like for self-managed configuration and letting folks know how to optimally configure theirs, right?
No, I don't think so. I think that like it's really like up to the infrastructure team disposal to figure out like the configuration and start like tinkering with the configuration while they will be deploying that. Because as far as I know, they have all the configurability aspects. This is why I need to only like ensure like that this DB pool thing is like fully configurable, that they have everything that they may like need for like to configure that, because like a lot of what they configure like we then gonna replicate into our documentation.
Right. Okay. All right, and then this is carried over from last week since you weren't at the meeting. So if I was reading the MR correctly on this one, it said that steps 1 through 3 will be complete from the original issue on your first MR.
Let me link the correct issue because like you are using the old ones.
Yeah.
So I did finish like this one with composite status right now, and I hope it's gonna be merged like for like I don't know in next 2 days. I hope. So we're gonna solve the step number 1. I'm gonna work on the step number 2. And I'm unsure if I'm gonna be able to finish step number 3, this milestone. But let me link exactly what is being closed right now by this issue. By this issue, I'm closing effectively by this merge request, I'm effectively closing this issue, which is like the prerequisite and the first step out of this optimized pipeline service. It's actually the comment at the bottom, because there is like elaborated implementation, but there is like the comment of mine about the steps to implement. If you could scroll up, below, a little more below. Okay, this is so this is the steps. I'm now like I did finish the step number 1. And I'm gonna still finish the step number 2 this week. It's very simple, but then I'm left like with this workflow that is defined basically in this issue. But like all these 2 items are like prerequisite for implementing this workflow. So technically, like this issue is right now being blocked by the merge of these first merge request that you linked.
Okay. So the entire issue won't be closed in 12.4. Do we need to break this issue down into smaller ones or just carry it over to 12.5 and keep working on the related MRs?
I think that this pretty well like describes the end goal, because like the smaller issues are already created, which is like let me link you about the smaller issues and what we're actually solving by that one.
They're listed in the related issues below, right?
Yeah, so basically like I'm actually solving these related issues. as part of working on this one.
Okay.
Because like technically, like improved domain model of CI/CD processing, I'm actually missing one more issue. Atomic, because I'm actually also solving this issue that I'm gonna link in a few seconds. So this issue that like I'm working on is actually solving like quite extensively pipeline processing on many multiple layers.
Okay.
And I'm actually, I have to link that. Okay. Okay, so I linked actually like the fourth issue to that list because this is like effectively like this is the issues that we're gonna close once we finish this one.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This last issue actually describes the step number 3 out of that story.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna update the comment to make it more clear. And no, actually, it's properly linked about like the steps already. I just need to update references to the moved issues. So actually, I think that this issue very well like describes the end goal, and like we have individual issues that catch like the specific aspects that like gonna be improved.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So since the related issues are in 12.4, we should just move this one out to 12.5 then, since you said, you know, the bigger issue is not going to be solved before you go out of town.
So like from my perspective, if I would not have any interruptions and other interruptions, I would still be able to solve this like big issue. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if I will not have other interruptions because like technically I have around 8 working days or 9 working days till like the feature freeze.
Okay.
It's quite risky for me at this point. It's like 50-50, I guess.
Okay. And you say you're out next Monday? You won't be around?
I'm out from Monday to Thursday.
Okay.
Because I'm traveling on Monday. On Tuesday, like we have some dinners and meetings for the commit. Wednesday it's actually a conference, and I'm traveling back on the Thursday. I will have some time in the evening, but it's not really like a lot of time.
Yeah, we actually have 2 more meetings before the end of the milestone, so we'll check back on the 14th to see if we need to move it off to 12.5 before the milestone ends. Since you're 50-50 right now on finishing this one out, we'll just leave it for the moment. Okay, so this next one's Alexei's deduplicating and refactoring the existing project code. He made a comment about focusing on Project Tree Restorer first and mentioned that it is actually a part of the initial code listed, or I'm sorry, the initial issue listed. There's not a lot of detail in there other than he just needs to focus on that piece of it. So it's called out in the, sorry, go ahead, Camille.
Yeah, so basically like just doing that application will result in the implementation being completely broken because Project Tree Restorer is not prepared to work on the deduplicated data. That's the meta story out of that. So like in order to do that application, we have to improve Project Tree Restorer first.
Okay.
I mean, like fix the bugs, maybe fix the bugs for like with that application that like what would be broken. I'm actually having meeting tomorrow with Alexei about that because he started looking at that, and I'm gonna try to guide him on what to do.
Okay.
So like It really depends how you name it, because like in order to make that application, we have to fix tree restorer because it's gonna be broken. So maybe it's better to improve tree restorer to be like less complex because it's now super complex, to not have to fix the bugs because the architecture gonna be better of that. So I don't know what is the best approach, but I know that project tree restorer in that current form will not accept that application in that form that we are using.
Okay. Honestly, you might as well invite Matthias to the meeting if he doesn't have any conflicting meetings at the time, so he can dive in quickly and early on what's going on with that project.
Let's write comment on the channel. I think it's gonna be the best one.
Okay. All right. Let's see. All the intensive endpoint issues, it was clear we're not going to get to them in 12.4, so I moved them out to 12.5 and marked them with the low-hanging fruit icon, so that we'll probably assign the merge request one to one of the newer folks on the team as they get up to speed. That's the one that's hitting us the hardest at the most. Seems like a good one to onboard with. And then when I was reviewing the backlog, this issue came up. And it was Camille had commented a while back that we shouldn't even look at this until we roll out Puma. So I put it in 12.5. Probably should put blocked on it. But there's interest, and I will circle back with product management with Larissa and possibly Joshua once they're back from commit on prioritization of this, if it makes sense, and what we need to offset to do this work.
Yes, I strongly agree that like we should focus on that item next, because it's gonna like I mean in general like more dynamic communication with the backend. But before we can do that, we have to work in the multi-threaded environment, and Unicorn is not really good for doing that.
Yeah.
So like regardless if this is like, I don't know, Puma or anything else that is multi-threaded and how it behaves as Unicorn is very bad to that usage pattern. Because Unicorn by design is like a single threaded, and by design it can be killed very rapidly. So maybe like for the WebSockets application, like we maybe spawn up like a separate service that's gonna be running concurrently. I have no clue, but it's one of the probably another big improvements for the structure of the how we build application in terms, because like we now fire a ton of different requests to update applications semi-dynamically, and it's very inefficient on that sense. And I think that this is a very good topic for us to look at.
Okay. Yeah, and we can weigh this out with the other endpoints that we've identified as causing issues right now to see what the most impactful change to pick up next would be.
The only tricky part, there is nothing about the memory in this.
Yeah, we've been drawing outside the memory lines for a little while now, so that's nothing new. All right. I think that was it. So I carried over items from last week. Alexi and Andreas couldn't make it today. So any other topics or are there any release post items we should label? Anything interesting we did this week that would be noteworthy once we roll out 12.4?
I am not aware of anything yet.
Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, I'll let y'all go. We're pretty much at time anyway. So thanks, everybody.